2-hour stream, and then I'll be jumping off. So what I was working on at the weekend that I think you guys will really dig is, I don't know if any of you have been playing around with Claude Code, but Claude Code came out with this idea of using Git work trees, which is basically where you create a duplicate file system, and that will be synced in a linear commit history with your current repository. So you'll see on the left here, we've got these different work trees, and I've got one for media upload and one for social accounts. Now, the problem with, for example, using the Supabase local stack is you've got things like a shared database, and you're also having things like, you're relying on an auth table, so an auth schema, and then inside of the auth schema, there's a bunch of different things that are specifically happening. So we've had to obviously work around the fact that like each individual Git work tree is going to be using the same auth.users table, and specifically for the migration side of things, we have a custom RPC that allows us to truncate all the tables in a given schema. So this is the kind of stuff that I got Claude Code to cook up, where we have a bunch of different shell scripts where we can switch work tree, we can do things like create a work tree, we can remove a work tree, and we've also got a bunch of information that we can give, and we dynamically create Docker override files. And these Docker override files are so cool because basically what we can do is have a base docker compose.yaml file. We dynamically, when we generate a work tree, create a file with the different work tree schemas and the database schemas, and then we update in real time the database URLs, and as well as that, things like the search path as well. And that basically means that we can then, because we're using a Docker override, in every layer of the service, we are able to basically have this API or this web dev, which is, but basically it's like it's going to be running on a unique port, and essentially it will use a different schema, and we do a bunch of stuff here, like being able to tell it how to run tests. And when we run tests, what's quite interesting is, like, for example, integration tests, you'll see that when we run those in the setup, we do things like we actually have a custom RPC for resetting that schema. So this reset test DB, so rather than restart the Docker containers, let's basically just get the search path, and then we have a truncate, so all the tables to truncate, which is really, really nice. So that basically means you can run integration tests, and you'll see if I do this here, this also works without all the workspaces stuff, so the Git work trees. But you'll see, like, this is, for example, running integration tests in web and app. So that's all in the client-side application and the API layer. We also have just standard component tests and tests across the core services packages. So we've got lots and lots of tests now, which is all good. And I've just got Claude and Cursor to fix all those tests. So the final thing that we're going to have a look at before we move on is we're actually going to just test this Git work tree setup, because I really want to see whether this works, basically, because that's like the one thing that is really interesting. So we're going to load up Claude Code. We're going to get some more Claude codes going, because why not? That is what it's all about, people, today. We are learning how to do parallel Claude Code. That is all we're working on right now. Okay, so I want you to use scripts, and I want you to create a fake feature branch, etc. Then I want you to run both pnpm test and pnpm test integration, and to make sure that these tests are changing a schema other than the public dot. And also I want to ensure that we can access the client-side application and the back-end application when we choose to do so. Right, so we can have multiple Claude codes, and they could all be running tests against a Supabase local stack, and then we want to dive into the React app, or we want to dive into the Fastify app, and we want to have multiple versions of those going, but we don't want them to specifically be able to interact with each other. And that's why we're doing all this funky stuff like setting the search path to a certain schema. So you'll find if you set the search path, then you're basically, only telling this reset testDB to specifically update that part of the database in terms of truncating tables. So that is kind of what we've built. It's a way of making sure that when we create these Git work trees, they have a test environment, they can run tests, the data is isolated, so we have isolated data, we have isolated client-side applications. So you'll see, for example, now if we look in here, we should end up with another feature, so another schema here. And let's have a look here. So in here, so what we got here, setting up work tree. So it's reading all these here, these rules. So now it's running the migrations. So let's see, so we should end up with a bunch of tables that basically mirror exactly what we have in the public schema, right? That looks like an error. Function name has content insight is not unique. Let's have a look. Do we end up with those tables? We do. See, but these are duplicated tables, right? That's the point I was getting at. We've got duplicated tables here. And then we're then going to seed that data. So you can see here, look, we're getting, let's have a look here. Okay, so this extension doesn't exist, so that looks like we're running into an issue here. Despite some seed errors, so we do want to fix some of those errors, the user error and job definitions error. Test work tree. I want to fix these seed errors for this Git work tree. And basically the idea is that we can use one Supabase local stack database, which is running an entire service. So you've got Postgres, you've got your Studio, you've got things like Postgres Meta, Edge Runtime, you've got an image proxy, storage API, Postgres REST, real time, etc. Yeah, so like the issues that we have is like, so job definitions looks like it's getting populated, but for example, there are no W-test, schema isolation, items in the users table. Yes, having some sweet fun today. Cool. Okay, what's this? Yeah, so we need to update it, so should be a select extensions rather than the search path of that. Nice, so that's our data that we're getting now in a separate schema. And this is almost a throwaway schema, right? It replicates what we have in the public table. And that's useful because if we have a separate schema here, then Claude can mess around with this. Whatever it wants to do, it could make new tables, it could delete tables, it could update RLS policies, It's completely separate from the public table, which means we don't have to spin up multiple Supabase local stacks, which are quite heavy because they've got around 10 Docker containers. So it's done that now. So I want you to run tests on pnpm test and pnpm test. This will be test integration, and make sure that these tests are hitting the specific schema and not public doc. The other thing that we did, which was quite interesting, is I removed all of the prefixes that we did in the Supabase migrations. So you'll see here, if we go and look at some of the migrations here, you'll find that we've removed all of the public dot prefixes. So normally you would see like a public dot, which says that this thing is inside of the public schema. It's a function or a remote procedure call, an RPC, inside of the specifically inside of the public schema, but we don't want to do that because we want to be able to dynamically generate everything. So that is currently what we're doing. And I also want to see, can we see these Docker containers? So it would also be quite nice. So at the moment we can't see these Docker containers. Let me just see. Also, when working in a Git work tree, can we change the setup so that the Docker containers are always available? Yeah, all are always available so that we can access these as we switch between different work trees and reviewing their work. I can just use Docker PS to find them. So the idea here is, what I want to do is, if we can basically have it where when we do Docker PS, not only do we have a Supabase local stack running, but we also have like each individual front end, each individual back end, and then we can just specifically see, oh, okay, this agent was working on this, we can dive into that specific React app or that specific Fastify app. And that will be useful for judging whether the tests are good enough. So we need to update the work tree setup and make sure that that works, because, and this is basically where we're creating this Docker override file. So that is essentially what we're doing a lot of, is we're dynamically making Docker override files. Well, so we just had a comment on Twitch about, using LMs for coding that makes me sad. Well, I think you've just got to embrace it, LMs are amazing. Embrace it. So this is giving us specific ports. And we're binding these to ports. And how do we choose the port? So we're doing a 3000 plus port offset. We generate unique ports for this work tree using a hash of the work tree name to generate consistent ports. Nice, I like it, that's really cool. Cool, let's keep going then. Yeah, reset up the test work tree, yeah, that makes sense. So do we need to move across? Ah, okay. Oh, so we might need to move across the .env variable from app/API, and also we might need to move across the .env.local from apps web when creating the work tree, as these are not committed to Git. Or is that not the problem? Maybe that's not the problem. Cool. We're just changing files at the moment. Whilst we're getting that to get going, I think we could start to think about some Claude code sessions that we want to run. This one seems pretty decent. Dockerizing, is it? Dockering. Okay, so we need one for setting up Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics. Might as well go set that stuff up in here whilst we're waiting for all that to finish. Can just do a duplicate of this one, I guess. Yeah. Nice, so now we're going to copy across the .env and the .env.local into that. We'll say remove the version from the Docker override, because that's like a redundant thing now. Yeah, I think so. We got a comment here from Black Bag Software. I think you just need to have tests that allow you to capture those changes, right? Like you should, ideally, if you can have tests. That's what I'm setting up. So a bunch of different tests. And then once you've got loads of tests, you're like, okay, I'll dive into that piece of software and see if it works, and then if it doesn't, then you can update it basically. So I think you've got to like, I think TDD is going to become really, really important basically if you want to scale out the multi-agent stuff. Okay, so yeah, so that has now changed. So if we look at these work trees, so we now calculate some ports, and we also check to see if we're able to get both the schema and get the Docker containers. We echo those out to the console, which is nice. Okay, so we'll tell it now, remove tests schema isolation and try again with a new git work tree so that we can utilize it and test it out. So black bag software, I think like the main thing you want to do is don't go for full test coverage, but basically if you can get the LLM to generate tests, and those could be unit tests or component tests, or those could be integration tests with a database service layer or an API layer, or they could be just SQL tests with pgtap. And then obviously end-to-end tests are probably the most robust with Playwright. And what you can do is then so I think the main focus should be, if you're scaling out lots of chunks of work, use Claude Code to generate a couple of different, features, and get it to generate tests, and then you can dive into an individual feature branch and figure out, okay, actually this is, this is actually going to be, these tests are actually testing it and it's working, right? So you can't really rely on the tests, but you can see what you can do is you can say, okay, write the tests, and then obviously if all is good, then you know that it's fine, and if not, you can dip it to the code. So I've now got an app, a web that should be running on a different port. So if we go and have a look, that is not running. So let's go and see if we can figure that one out. Seed work tree. Are you sure that front end and back end are running on those ports? I can't see anything on my side. Yeah, so just get it to test the constants basically. Yeah, that's fine. Right, we're going to set up Google Tag Manager and stuff whilst we're waiting for that to just chug out a load of code, create a property. Currency should be USD. Very strange. US dollar. Cool, next. Let's just go in and turn all the good settings on. For anyone who's just joining in, we are basically getting our dev work tree set up, where it will dynamically get ports. So the easiest way to do this is in the source control. So have a look at this, guys, where we are using a hash function with the work tree name to get a port offset, and then we're using the web and API, and we're basically injecting those ports and then exposing them on the local machine, and then that's basically going to allow us to view those apps. So we're just letting Claude Code fix all that stuff. And whilst it's fixing all that stuff, I'm literally just going around here and going into this. I might want to move this property details, move property. Okie dokies. Let's go look at it. Let's see. Come on, guys. Wow, I can see feature comment inbox API dev. Check this out, right? Let's go and see if we can access this port. Web dev. So it's running there. Maybe we should try on localhost perhaps. Web container is mapping both 3000 and 7000. Oh, okay, so yeah, can you fix this port mapping issue? Perhaps it's the base Docker container. Once we've got this fixed, then we can roll out multiple Claude codes. We've got to wait for that. Might as well turn all this stuff on, all the good stuff. Google Signals. Can set the retention policy to be slightly longer. Cool, set up a Google Tag Manager account. Let's just duplicate this one, nice and easy. We will export container. Yeah, the base Docker, let me update our override file to properly replace the ports. We need to update the ports basically. And that's what we need to do. But we do have extra Docker containers now, which is good. It's a good start. And we got that extra Cloud Task Simulator. And we can just do an import here from the original container file, which is this one here. Lovely stuff. And there you go. We go to change the variables. We just need to update this UA tracking ID to be this stream. We get streams for GA. Yeah, get rid of the GA tracking ID then. That's old. And we just want to update, so get rid of this one. I think the rest can all stay for now. Cool. That's fine for now. Still mapping both ports. Yeah, so we're going to stop all those containers. Right now we're just getting multiple containers. At least our remove git work tree works. We can just easily remove a work tree, which is good. Does that close down Docker containers? Okay, so we want to add that to the list of things as well. Can you also add this when we remove a work tree, close down those Docker containers. We're close, guys. I can feel it. Cool, so let's go grab the Google Tag Manager ID, which will be, oh my god, been ages since I've been a Tag Manager. Probably just give this one to Cursor, it's such a small beach. That one we're just going to do ourselves, so quick. Now this is where it's going off on a bit of a tangent. Okay, so everything is okay, but we should always use the hard-coded network because we are only using one feature, one Superbase OpenStack. So please avoid that. Cool. We've already got Google Tag Manager set up. Nice, all done. Next task. Let's go and actually have a look at the app. After you've made those changes, can you delete this work tree and make sure that the original .sh scripts are bug free? Then try again. Yes, that is the plan. Multiple versions of Claude Code all running on your system. Actually, Claude Code has a max plan, and they actually don't charge you with API costs. So just get the Claude Code max plan. You can run like 2 or 3 terminals for £170 a month, which is really nice. Cool. So this is the current app, which is just in our Docker setup. Yeah, just get the max plan, dude. It's really good. You can get a couple of terminals going. You'll be laughing. Takes ages to compile in Docker, which is a bit annoying. Just update the original .sh scripts. And if it takes this long to compile, I'll just run it in npm. Okay, so public got deleted by accident. We should have new users in there. Let's have a look. If I just do a quick pnpm reset, that'll reset this database in the public schema. So I can still operate on my own public schema, but I'm going to have extra schemas for feature branches, which is really nice. So now you'll see we get a bunch of users, we can log in with a user. Let's go over here. Ooh. What is going on there? Failed to fetch. Has it got the Supabase network in it? Yeah, looks like it's got that. Let's try again. Let me just double check this isn't a networking issue with Docker. We can do that just by doing this. Just by checking it outside of Docker is a good proxy for that. Yeah, okay, so there is an issue, and what is the issue? Let's give that one to Cursor to go and figure that out. when I am in docker -compose, when I run my Next.js app, I get this, but when I am running just with pnpm, I don't get this. How's Claude Code getting on? Did it delete those Docker instances? It did. So it deleted it when it deleted the work tree. But we have set up networking. Can you confirm this? So none of these tables seem to be getting created. I can't see any tables in this environment. Can you run the docker ps, etc. to debug this? Ooh, very close. Okay, apparently the scripts are bug 3. Okay, so this problem is host.docker internal is used to connect from a container to the host machine. Okay, so it's going to update the Docker Compose. So let's just debug our Docker container for now. Docker Compose, and we're using the profile flag, which allows us to basically just load up different services for Docker. Ah, okay, cool. I'll probably never use Docker for my actual testing and coding, but it's quite nice to have the option for Claude Code to use it, even if it is slightly slower to boot up stuff. We just got to try and see if it can log in. Next.js is really slow to compile in Docker. is there a workaround for this or not? Cool, let's try and log in. We'll use a okay. Failed to fetch. Cool, I guess we should try test one more work tree. Can you test one more Git work tree for parallel Claude coding? How are we getting on? So why are users not populating? Can you make sure that my seed data doesn't fail? I want to update the original .sh script so that when we create a new Git work tree, this will work. Apparently we can turn on something called Virtuo file system, Docker desktop apparently. Apparently that will help. We've already got that. Okay. Let's have a look at that, see if we get those populating here. I'll say not all of the tables are coming through now though. Should have more tables than that. Nice, we managed to fix it, guys. Docker now works. And this is running on a local Docker. So you'll see here, this is our Dockerized setup, which we won't really use because it's so slow, but Claude Code can use it till its heart is content. And this is basically allowing us, if I go to the terminal and show you, so you'll see we have a API dev and a web dev and also a cloud tasks emulator. And then you'll see this is just currently loading here. So you've got this no workspaces found, get started by creating a workspace. So again, like this is, there you go. So that's basically it. Now, am I expecting workspaces for this user? I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, team admin, no members. Yeah, cool. So let's close those containers down because they're not useful. And let's double check that the workspaces bootstrapping is now working. Yeah, can you get the emails working as well? Can you get the emails working as well, please? We need those. We really are rinsing Claude Code right now, guys. Okay, cool. So I'm going to commit this. I think that is fine. Right, so I'm going to kill these two Docker containers. I think we're nearly there. And then we could just let Claude code all the time. Okay, so we've got a specific bit of code for users and identities, basically. So I guess we should also put thingy. We should also put our other users in that specific one there. These ones. Claude goes like this a couple of times, but don't worry about it. Okay, cool. think we're nearly ready now. Okay. We are ready to go. We got a couple of branches on the go. So I think we should give Claude Code the media upload, social media, and simplifying the login paging and fixing all the testing infrastructure. That seems like a good one to do. Let's just cancel this for now. We'll just reload that Claude session. Can you fix it, please? Alright, cool. So let's go and jump back to some other Claude sessions that we had before. And allowed tools. Media upload feature. I want you to pull in from the main branch. Then I want you to change this git work tree. We'll just double make sure this one here. We just need to make sure the users one works, otherwise we're going to end up with loads of issues everywhere. I don't want to use seed schema users, what's it called? I'm going to get rid of this one and okay, so manage work tree script slash manage work tree.sh remove cool. Okay, so we just want to add create test. Okay, so we're getting an issue here. I think we should just simplify this with a Python script for that specific SQL. That makes things pretty nice. I need to simplify things for the email replacement in auth.users for a specific Supabase migration file. And that would be prefixed emails can you write a Python script that will get executed from scripts for this to modify a new file that the rest of the .sh script uses? I think that's what we can do. Oh, we need to tell it what it's on this. It's specifically on this type of data. Where would it be? Packages, Supabase, migrations. Looking for seeds. This one here. Specifically for this. For whenever we are doing inserts against auth.users and auth.identities. I think that'll do it. I think that'll just about do it. Just going to wait for this and then we'll reinstall any Sphere Python, I guess. Complex awk scripts. Come on, hurry up. Crazy how an LLM just gets stuck. Cool. All right. Might just use Gemini 2.5 for this. Unbelievable, it's just getting stuck. Need to use the edit file, create file not found. We are so close. So let's get rid of this old work tree. I can do that with my manage scripts now. Okay, let's run it, let's give it a go. So if I do so this is when we run generate schema seed. We're managing the test R, and then we're going to run schema. Let's have a look here. If I do manage work tree, and I want to do test R, create switch, cool, that works. Okay, cool. I think we fixed that, so let's go and try that now again. Okay, so right, we're gonna give Claude Code back control. Can you? Okay, so the first thing is we will actually just delete that. Manage work tree, test the R, and then we're gonna remove that. Remove test the R. Then we're going to go and tell Claude Code, can you create a new work tree in Git and test these scripts. Let's do that. Cool. Make a new Git work tree for testing the management scripts. Okay, cool, so it's doing that. Let's have a look. Alright, so it made test working tree scripts. Now we just got to test the... Okay, so here you go. Run migrations in the work tree. Test the work tree scripts. Let's have a look. So we're still getting some issues with org members. Could we also get the Python script to update the JSON data just to be sure? We failed on the seed scripts, etc. We failed on that one. We're really close. We've got all the tables being created now. We just need to be able to make sure that the org members and the users basically don't get uploaded. So we should get org members, team members, this could make the changes. Alright, okay, cool. We need to just fix the org members, team members, and users table seeds. When we have our seeds, what seeds are we doing? So if I go back and look in Supabase, but we're just trying to fix the users and identities section really. Yeah, that works. Cool, perfect. Okay, let's get rid of that as well. Test workstream scripts. All of our seed data working within the Git work tree so that we can run parallel tests. Cool, so whilst it's working on that, I think we will just have a look and see what we can do here. This is done now. Could work on this one actually. So let's have a look here. Public.users should still be working, right? I think we're really close, guys. No. But we want to change the sub, etc. Cool. Test the work trees, get work trees set up for Claude code. So now that we've gone and done that, then the next thing to do is basically what we're going to do here is we're just getting it to run all these seed scripts again, and once we're happy with those, then we can go and load up a bunch of Claude codes.
Ready to conquer like a funky bear. Funky with me. Ba-da-ba-ya. Funky with me. Yeah. Funky with me.
Can you run the work tree setup and test the seed script?
Head out the door, feeling bright and free. People say that I'm AI, but playing my keys, bring joy and cheer. Hey, watch me cruise. Funky with me. Ba-da-ba-ya. Funky with me.
Don't you need to set up a Git work tree, etc.?
Funky with me. Ba-da-ba-ya. Funky with me.
Let's have a look here.
Funky with
No, I want to get rid of this. Let's get rid of this Claude code, it's getting confused. We will just do ourselves, I think, at this point. So we want to do manage work tree, create test.
toes in my hands. In the kitchen making one-man band. Doggy passing by, but I don't really care. Funky vibes taking me everywhere. Styling on my head. Ready to
Okay, so now Docker is not working.
funky with me.
It's a separate issue.
Ba-da-ba-ya. Funky with me. Yeah. Funky with me.
I need to do a restart on Docker. Okay, and now we can try again. So it's .scripts, manage work tree, create test. We'll say create test new. Here you go. Go in here, run this command, run migrations. Seed. Let's have a look here.
Ready to conquer like a funky bear. Funky with me. Ba-da-ba-ya. Funky with me. Yeah. Funky with me. Ba-da-ba-ya.
So everything's working apart from no users, team members, org members, or org members. Okay. My setup works apart from no org members, no team members, no users. Can you help me to debug these specific seeds? Because we're very, 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 very close. Can spin up a new schema. Got all the same tables. Just need that user's seed data. I think we've hard coded the ideas. Hard coded the IDs though. Okay, so that's the problem, is that when we create these new users, if you look in auth.users, we've only got these ones. The trigger might not be working properly across schemas. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I think we can, at this point, give so I can. We need to make that specific file dynamic. So should we change our scripts to modify that SQL file in that Git work tree? what. Or maybe we should call it a different, should we call it a different table name? Maybe that's a better way. Table name would be better, right? We have a separate table name. Won't run into that issue. Add automatic user sync. Cool. Okay, update that then. I think that's what we need to do. What about org members and team members though? Let's test to see, do we have users in that? Nice. So we say, can you make it so that we delete the work tree in the work trees folder after running delete? Maybe it is already doing it. Let's remove this one too. I will do this test new. Yep, that's all gone. Nice. Okay, great. We fixed it. Fixed it. Yeah. Right, so let's spin up our previous sessions of social media accounts and Claude code for media upload. You can do simplify the login page, that'd be quite good actually. Can you simplify the login form? I want to remove magic link and and just log all of the users in via email plus password, or log in with Google. To test the E2E and integration tests, I would recommend using a Git work tree so that you can work in parallel. At scripts, you will need to set up Docker, etc. Cool, and then we've just got that one, so then that one can go and do that task. And then we'll go into our media upload, and I'm going to go back into another terminal. And we'll say, remember to be on a separate branch, etc. Branch. So then we're going to go in here. This one we already have a session for. This is for media upload feature. I want you to pull origin main. Oh, we should also push to the main branch. Let's do that. Let's cancel this commit, make a commit message. Cool, so that one's just away doing its work. Move terminal into new window. And then I want you to go through the Git work tree setup, but with the code from this branch. Have a look in scripts. You can set up Docker, and also you can set up a seed strategy for a custom schema in Postgres. Go forth and make me proud. I want to be able to see the app in Docker, etc. Okay, media upload is good. Social media accounts. Let's go and have a look at that. So social media accounts, we're going to want to do. We're going to want to do the same thing. Zoom, allowed tools. Get access to everything. Okay, so this one is going to be the social media accounts. Okay, that's great. I have worked on a new Git worktree structure that allows us to replicate tests. Can you please move all of these files to a new Git worktree, set up Docker, etc., so that I can log in and see the front end and back end part of the application. Let me give access to this as well. Okay, cool. And then I can work over here whilst managing all these guys. Wow. What happened there? Maybe we should use terminal then. Cursor can't handle it. Let's do that. Yeah, I might use terminal from the looks of things. Cursor started lagging out when we were doing that. Okay, great. Well, we managed to get the setup working, which is good. So basically, we've got a way now of being able to run multiple Claude codes against different work trees. And each work tree has its own schema. Looks like we're getting some issues with real-time database and that kind of stuff in Postgres, but I think we can probably do something like this where we can just do super base stop, do MCS super base stop, and start that up again in here. Do a stop here. So I think we've got it roughly working. So I'm going to see how many Claude codes I can run on my own, and I will report back my findings to everybody. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We've got that working, got multiple schemas now, one for each workspace, and we've got all of these work trees here. So that is the plan. So now that we've got that working, I am gonna go enjoy that, and yeah, peace out. I'll see you all on the next one.